Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling. And welcome to steamy Stillwater, Oklahoma, where Mike Gundy finds himself in a spot he hasn't been since he was first taking over for Les Miles in front of this fan base. Their backs are against the wall, and they face Neil Brown in West Virginia with a couple rivalry losses already, but they're clean so far at the beginning of Big 12 play. In this 16-team conference that looks like this, 4 ranked teams, Oklahoma State's 0-2 for the first time since 2005. West Virginia, meanwhile, beat Kansas before the bye, and so there's urgency for both these teams. With that, we say hello, and thanks for joining us alongside former 2-time All-American and NFL linebacker Kirk Morrison. I'm Mike Monaco. Don Davenport is down on the field. Well, a lot was expected of both these teams entering this season, and yet somebody's leaving here with a third loss already.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The new Big 12, right? Seeing teams that weren't here last year, all of a sudden now at the top of the conference, and leaving West Virginia and Oklahoma State saying, where do we fit into this conversation? That's what today's all about, Mike.
For Oklahoma State, last year they had the best running back in the country in Ollie Gordon, something West Virginia is well aware of.
You know, it starts with Ollie Gordon. He's special. I don't know if we tackled him yet from last year's fourth quarter, so he's going to have breakout games. I just hope it's not against us.
The question here all season is, why hasn't he been the same so far this year?
Well, look, every team is loading the box, 8, 9, 10 men in the box sometimes. It's been difficult for Ollie Gordon to get going, and he's trying to hit the home run, Mike. He just needs to get the early yards, the quick yards. Those will happen later as the game goes on, the big play.
And now, for as famous as he is, you think today is more about the quarterbacks than Gordon?
Man, it's about the age and experience of these quarterbacks. You got the 5th-year senior in Garrett Green, and on the opposite side, Alan Bowman, the 7th-year senior. Which quarterback has the better game today? You find out. We'll find out today. But whoever has the better game, they'll win this football game. It's on the shoulders of these quarterbacks today.
All right, so we'll see which one of those two steps up here in Stillwater. They are ready. It is a scorcher at Boone Pickens Stadium for the Pokes and the Mountaineers on ESPN. Back in Stillwater, and there is breaking injury news for one of Oklahoma State's best players. Downstairs to Don Davenport.
Yeah, and Mike, this is already an Oklahoma State defense that ranks last in the Big 12, and today they will now be without their 2 best defensive players, both linebackers. They lost Colin Oliver earlier this season to injury, and now today, Nick Martin, who suffered an injury late in the game last week, is out for a considerable amount of time. DC Brian Nardo said they are losing their eraser in Nick, a guy who makes things right, and certainly a cause for concern with a West Virginia team who told us they put an emphasis this week on getting that run game going. Mike Kirk, that is a matchup to watch right away in this one.
It sure is. And Mike Gundy, again, said to us about Nick Martin, to Don's point, he's going to be out a while. And Mike Gundy said that means we're without our 2 best defensive players. So how does that much maligned defense fare against West Virginia? As Logan Ward gets it away, and West Virginia will have it at the 25. So West Virginia is 2-2, 1-0 in the Big 12 like we showed you. Frustrating rivalry losses to Penn State and Pitt, where they had the late lead. But their last game before the bye, they got a great comeback win themselves against Kansas. So despite the early losses, they've got plenty of opportunities coming up.
Yeah, they're happy with where they're at right now. They come off a bye week as well, where they're able to look at themselves and figure out what's going good, what's going bad. But they have a great opportunity to start today on the road. Their first plane trip of the season, Mike.
Yeah, they're on the road here in Oklahoma. Jaheim White pops behind Garrett Green. And to start this game, it's on the ground with White. Pushes forward for a few yards. So Neil Brown coming out of a bye, something you always put a lot of stock in.
Always, because it's a lot of good developmental work. You get the chance to do techniques, fundamentals, things that you don't necessarily get a chance to do in the regular season.
Garrett Green with some pressure, fires, and it's caught! On the move, it's Traylon Davis. And the tight end rumbles to the 40. Into a tight window for 21.
Yeah, Trey Rucker was in coverage, number 9. I don't think anybody realized that the ball was in the air. And it turns around, and Davis, the ball just falls right in his hands. Tucker misses the tackle, and it's off to the races for a big gain for West Virginia.
4-man rush. Green down the sideline. sideline and just too long for Traylon Ray, sophomore wideout from Tallahassee.
Yeah, early on you're seeing it. You see one big play by the tight end, and then you go up top and try to score on a big play, a big fade route to Ray. So early on, pushing the ball down the field is West Virginia. They're going to have to do that to get this defense to back up a little bit and play more coverage and try to not stop the run.
Garrett Green, the fifth-year senior from Tallahassee as well. Second year as the full-time starter. Rides it to White. On the outside, slipped the tackle. And Jaheim White goes out of bounds. Obi Azebo pushed him out after Jeff Robertson, who's stepping in for Nick Martin, tried to wrap him up.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Robertson, the guy, he's what my old coach used to always say, he's got the big sombrero on, right? Number 22 in orange today, Jeff Robertson. He has to be what Nick Martin has been to this defense. That's a difficult task, but right here on third down is the first test for this Oklahoma State defense without their leader in the middle.
The paddle people are always loud in Stillwater. On the ground, and White navigates for a first down. Kind of picking through the traffic, and he moves the sticks.
Terrific blocking along that offensive line, especially Traylon Davis. He had the big catch early on, but watch the big tight end come through the line of scrimmage and get a nice seal block on Rucker, the safety filling in late, which allowed White to get enough for a first down.
Don said it, this West Virginia offense, who prided itself on its running game last year, they want to improve on that as well coming out of the bye.
They want to develop an identity now, this second part of their season after the bye, like you mentioned.
Cole Taylor motions, one of the tight ends. And Green to the air, pumps. He's so good scrambling, but he fires here toward the sideline, and that is caught. But Hudson Clement might have been out of bounds first.
Yeah, I believe he stepped out of bounds. The route to the football that he came back to the ball with looked like his left foot may have stepped out. That official to that near side threw the hat. Whenever we see that hat get thrown, that means someone stepped out of bounds.
Illegal touching offense. Receiver went out of bounds, was the first to touch the pass. Lost it down at the previous spot. Second down.
Yeah, and this is the interesting one here by Garrett Green. I thought he had room to run to get positive yards. Got a little greedy, try to get the ball down the field. And the Hudson Clement may have been surprised that late in the down that ball was thrown to him as well.
And so it backs up West Virginia on what had been a nice game to Hudson Clement, coming off the best game of his career. Takes away 13 yards, and on second down, C.J. Donaldson gets his first carry. All 238 pounds of C.J. Donaldson.
Yeah, he is the hammer of this offense. Love watching number 4 in white run the football. He is downhill. We'll see it from Ollie Gordon as well on the opposite side for Oklahoma State. But C.J. Donaldson so far, 37 carries on the year, 51 carries on the year, 284 yards on the ground. He is downhill in your face.
And Chad Scott really likes the way he's played this year. What does Neil Brown dial up on third down and 7? Rodney Gallagher in motion. Green keeps with a lane ahead, and Green ducks down. He's going to be short by about 1.5 yards. And decision time for West Virginia.
Man, that was a nice touchdown-saving tackle by Robertson there. He was able to come and just grab Green and bring him down. Kind of put a defensive backs in a sort of a challenging position where you're following Gallagher, but no one had eyes on the quarterback. So this is a big fourth down right here, and showing some of the aggressiveness right here is Neil Brown.
Analytics say go. Nobody in the country has converted more fourth downs offensively than the Mountaineers. Green under center. Donaldson straight ahead with a push forward. Appears to have enough. And it is a first down for West Virginia.
You get down to fourth down and you bring in the heavy package. You got 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, another. They just brought in all these different tight ends to go run the football, just to try to get good push up front. Outstanding job by the penetration on the outside by those tight ends, just getting great push and enough room for Donaldson to get through for over 1 yard.
And now it's Donaldson and White together, and they will swing it out to the 5'7" Jaheim White. Gets dragged down immediately. Jeff Robertson makes the play for a loss.
Hey, we're going to be talking his name a lot today, Mike. Number 22, Robertson. He's playing for Nick Martin. I call him the big sombrero, meaning that you can't hide. Everybody's going to be looking at you. Can you bring that same intensity that Martin brings? And this is a great start for Robertson. He's already got a couple of tackles, but one in the backfield for a tackle for loss. That's a good confidence-building tackle by Robertson.
Fifth-year senior in-state kid who said this week, with injuries back in the spring and in the fall, he has played a lot of Mike before. Green, the option, no pitch, and he slides down. Lost his footing, didn't have much anyway, and now it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, but that was a nice play when you look at everybody. Team defense. That's what I love watching. Dylan Smith, he's the rover on that position. He didn't attack Green. He allowed that play to develop, and then late in the down, watch number 11 finally attack Green and make him make a decision. It was almost too late. Good job feathering the quarterback by Dylan Smith.
So now it's 3rd down and 13 on this opening drive of the game for West Virginia. They've been really good recently in the red zone. Right on the fringe of it here. Green fires, sailed it. 4th down. Intended for Hudson Clements. Corey Black in coverage, the top DB for Oklahoma State.
I'm surprised he didn't go with Traylon Ray. He came in late in sort of a drag route all the way to the back of the end zone. He missed that one, and Green tried to force one in there. That just wasn't there. That was a terrific job by the coverage. He had time, but it was terrific coverage in the back end by Oklahoma State.
So Neil Brown sends out Mike Hayes, 6th-year senior who started his career at Georgia State. 5 for 5 this year after last year he was honorable mention Big 12. This is from 39, and Mike Hayes' kick is good. So West Virginia gets points on its opening drive of the game in the first 6 minutes. Cowboys will get it for the first time when we come back. Oklahoma State is 3-2, preseason number 17 team in the country. Started out 3-0, won in double overtime against Arkansas, but week 4 lost to Utah. They gave Alan Bowman a reset during the second half. Then last week in the Little Apple, Avery Johnson accounted for 5 touchdowns. And so, like we said, Oklahoma State's 0-2 to start Big 12 play for the first time since 2005, year 1 for Mike Gundy.
Yeah, definitely shocking, right? With the expectations coming into the season, the returning starters on the offensive line, some of the players on defense, a lot of things that were going in the right direction. Just a slow start for the Cowboys.
Ready to get it from Mike Hayes toward Brennan Presley, who will take it out. Electric 5th-year senior, and Brennan Presley probes out to the 24. All right, we do it every week. It's Kirk's key. No surprise it's on Ollie Gordon. What's important for him?
Well, when Ollie Gordon makes the unblocked defender miss, it's go ahead, strike up the band, because he's going for a touchdown. That's what we saw all of last year, especially against West Virginia. But this season, he's having a tough time making the unblocked defender miss. Teams are putting 8, 9, 10 guys in the box, and Ollie Gordon's getting stuck in the backfield. We haven't seen those big gains.
Can he get going against the team he ran roughshod on last year? To start out, it is Gordon with some burst. And a good game to start for Ollie Gordon, and they just want to get him downhill.
Got to get downhill. Running backs coaches always talk to. One of the guys I used to work with as well would say, can you run through the smoke? If you're a firefighter, you got to run through the smoke, meaning that you don't know what's on the other side, but you can't run with fear. You got to run through the smoke because you got to go find a way. And you see it early on, getting downhill is Ollie Gordon.
Gets it again, and Gordon goes up the middle and gets just a yard. It's 3rd down and 1.
Guys, I'm going to tell you, all of his teammates have raved about how Ollie is handling a little adversity. No finger pointing. His center told me that he said, we control what we can control. Let's just get better. He could easily shut it down, and it has been absolutely opposite in that locker room. Speaks to his team-first mentality.
He's got it the first couple carries here, Don, and now on 3rd down and 1. Gordon again searching for space up the middle. And where's the spot going to be?
I don't think he got it.
Ran into T.J. Jackson, who continues to drag down Gordon.
Yeah, I'm looking at the near side official to that side, and he's holding that hand up as if they didn't get it, but they gave enough to him. You mentioned that T.J. Jackson was right there, number 11, maybe the best defensive player on that West Virginia defense. And right down the line, it was close. I wouldn't be surprised if they take another look at this one in replay right down the line.
Well, remember, the first 2 drives last week, it was 10 carries for Ollie Gordon, but they went away from him down the stretch. Gordon again. And Gordon has it out past the 40. Ball came out at the end, but it stays with Oklahoma State. So they were feeding him, and Casey Dunn, the offensive coordinator, said to us, no matter what, I have to keep giving Ollie Gordon the ball.
Well, remember last week's game versus Kansas State, the game got out of hand a little bit. They had to throw in order to get back in the football game. They couldn't run the clock, waste time. It was about trying to get back in the game. Today, you already see early on, it's all about Ollie Gordon.
Here he is again. And Gordon takes it to the 45 with a late flag coming in. Josiah Trotter, another one of the top defenders for West Virginia, in on the stop.
I think they may get a hold here on Dalton Cooper, 71. He was
Holding offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Yeah, right there at the point of attack. That's 5 plays to start this game and 5 runs for Ollie Gordon, but 71 right here. That's where the hold is going to happen. It was late in the play, but that hands on the inside, you got to let it go as Ollie Gordon's right there in the hole. Official standing right there. That's an easy throw by the judge.
Dalton Cooper in a matchup with T.J. Jackson, who you mentioned has been special defensively for West Virginia after transferring in from Troy. It's a breather here for Gordon, so Sesi Vailahi's got nothing. It's a loss of 2, and Aiden Garnes, the corner, came up on the stop, and now it's 3rd and long.
You see those extra defenders, Mike? If you're dressed in a uniform for the West Virginia defense, you're going to be near the football. That's what they talked about all week. This is the week to get all 11 hats to the football. That's how you're going to stop this running game, and you're seeing it right now. Cornerbacks getting in there making plays.
So now on 3rd down and 14 for Oklahoma State, they empty it out for Alan Bowman. Against the 3-man rush, he's got plenty of time. Bowman on the move outside the pocket. And Bowman will just loft it out of bounds, and West Virginia forces a punt. And the locals here in Stillwater do not like it one bit.
Yeah, that's just a great coverage in the back end. They actually only rushed 3. They dropped one guy, Ty French. He was, instead of a rusher, he was just a spy in the middle of the field. He's right watching the quarterback, watching Bowman. Once Bowman decided to get out of the pocket, he ran, chased him down. But look at the coverage in the back end. There's nowhere to go with that football. That should have been a sack, but they'll take getting off the field with a punt.
And it's why you said quarterback play is so important, and what happens through the air as well. Wes Paul gets one away, and just inside the 30, this is Preston Fox. Maintained his footing to about the 35. First 10 minutes, West Virginia and Oklahoma State, and the Mountaineers coaching staff loves what it sees so far.
Football is presented by Sling. Choose and customize your channel lineup. Sling lets you do that.
2 conference losses does not mean you can't reach the Big 12 championship game, Don Davenport.
Yes, no doubt, and that's what's been brought up for this Oklahoma State team because they've been here before. Last year, when I talked to all the players, they said we are comfortable with our backs against the wall, and a lot of that is because of their coach. A testament to Mike Gundy, who tells them no fear, no frustration. All the players I talked to said, listen, he is the same coach day in, day out with his team, and that helps them to fight when their backs are against the wall. They're okay with being in this spot. They don't love it, but they said they feel comfortable here.
And how about what Mike Gundy said to us yesterday? I like this stuff. We'll clean it up a little bit. He craves the tough seasons and trying to make better out of it. West Virginia's got it back. They're up by 3, and it's Jaheim White on the ground for about a yard. So now it's 12 plays, 9 runs for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, and they like this pace of the game, right? They want to continue to keep running the football. They've had multiple tight ends in the game. Their game plan is right there in front of you. They're not trying to throw the ball deep down the field or throw it 30, 40 times. They want to continue to pound the rock and use some play action to try to get their chunk plays.
Chad Scott said to us, we've got to get Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson going in this run game. Some pressure comes. Green steps up, and Green goes down. The big sombrero again on top of Jeff Robertson for a loss of 3.
Oh, Robertson's having himself a nice little day early on. He's making some plays, and they're just they're doing things differently because they're trying to create pressure. Okay, Robertson is going to be right here, and just watch him throughout the down. This is an effort sack. He doesn't get there in the beginning, but just finding a way, staying with it, relentlessness. You may not get him on the first time, but the second time around, it's a nice job by Robertson so far. He's off to a great start.
Well, Jaleel Johnson is down for Oklahoma State. Very talented redshirt sophomore defensive end. Check on Johnson when we come back. 7:30 Eastern, number 4 Tennessee takes on Arkansas. Back in Stillwater, they're looking at the neck, shoulder area of Jaleel Johnson. Third down, West Virginia, and Garrett Green fires for Hudson Clement right at the sticks, and Clement's got enough for a first down.
Well, did you see all the time that he had to throw? He could have walked the dog, could have went and got the newspaper. He had all time in the day to throw that football, and this is the Garrett Green that I'm used to seeing. When you have a pocket this clean, to sit back there, that back foot hits and throws, that's easy. That's a walk in the park for Garrett Green. That's how you pick up a first down on 3rd and long.
You said quarterbacks are so important. What's the biggest keys for Garrett Green today?
Just confidence. Continue to be confident. Make the throws that are there, the easy layups.
He runs behind C.J. Donaldson, and Garrett Green does not find much running room into the teeth of the Oklahoma State front for just the yard. Yeah, accuracy's been the big thing for Garrett Green. He told us that was his focus all offseason. Completing just 57% of his passes. You see 15 for 30 last time out against Kansas. We got the 2-minute drive going well, and they feel like he's throwing the deep ball great also.
Too antsy in the pocket at times for me with Garrett Green. I mean, he's just moving around. Sometimes just got to be still and let it happen right in front of you.
Both White and Donaldson again. So this is Jaheim White behind Donaldson off the left side. He finds a couple of yards, and it'll be 3rd down and medium for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I like this little interesting wrinkle we've seen so far with Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson both in the game. There's going to be a bunch more plays throughout the game where you're trying to get the defense to key on one guy and you throw it to another. So more plays to come out of here, but this is where they want to be in these 3rd and mediums, 7 or less for Garrett Green. If it's not there early, if I'm the Oklahoma State defense, have to have a spy on Green. May take off and pick it up with his legs.
Always capable of that. On 3rd down, Green wanted the wheel, wasn't there, so here he goes, taking off with those legs, and Garrett Green bursts inside the 20, wrapped up just outside the 10. You know it's a possibility every time, and yet he can still go for 40.
Every single time. Looked to be a little shaken up at the end of that play, but you have to keep at least 2 sets of eyeballs on Garrett Green, the quarterback for West Virginia. He has the ability to take off and run if it's not there early on. And this could be a huge, huge change of events if he's not able to continue. But you got to have at least one guy, Mike, somebody to spy the quarterback, especially on those 3rd downs. He has this ability. And for me, you think about last week. I'm thinking about watching that film last week with Oklahoma State going against Kansas State, right? Avery Johnson, the quarterback, did the same thing, and still no one there to try to bring down Green late in the down.
Well, boy, Garrett Green was grabbing up near that right shoulder, and now he heads off the field. And that's the flip side of a quarterback that has run it among the most of all quarterbacks in the country. So Green to the sideline, and here comes the redshirt sophomore Nico Marchiol, who has won West Virginia 3 big games in his career, including a couple years ago as a true freshman off the bench here in Stillwater when Garrett Green got injured.
Yeah, the offense doesn't change. Now what does change is his arm angle, a little different, lefty. So you're going to see a different throw, different look coming from the quarterback Marchiol.
Former ESPN 300 recruit Nico Marchiol will keep it on the ground. Donaldson can't find much. Justin Kirkland at 345 pounds for no gain.
Again, the offense won't change. And especially if I'm Neil Brown, I'm not going to have Marchiol go in and start throwing the football all over the place. It's going to have to rely on the running game even more. So you may see some more bigger sets, more tight ends, the quick passing, the quick throws, as Garrett Green still getting attended to on that sideline.
And obviously he's still favoring that right side. Second down from the 12. Donaldson fights for a couple of yards. 3rd down and 8.
You see, and that's a little bit different for offensive coordinators. So many times they call plays for the right-handed quarterback. Now, guess what? You got to flip the entire playbook because the plays are now going to be used for the left-handed quarterback in Marquille. So what would a normal play be called to the right? You may now see some of these plays now being run to the left, to the throwing side for Marquille.
As Garrett Green goes down the tunnel, this belongs to Nico Marquille. 9th play of the drive. Marquille fires, and it's a touchdown. Traylon Ray off the bench, and Nico Marquille delivers. We told you he's been forced into duty before. 2 years ago, we said it right here in Stillwater, and twice last year also.
This is just a timing throw. Ray gets out of his break, and that ball's delivered. It was just like pat and go. How you warm up, you get up 5 yards, you put the foot in the ground. He turned around. That ball was on him right now. And what a terrific throw. You talk about some confidence for the young redshirt sophomore with a touchdown throw in for relief of Garrett Green.
After Green kept it alive with his big run, Marquille finishes it off. Hey, this season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. So it happened a couple of times last year, like we said. Against Pitt, Garrett Green got injured last year. Nico Marquille came in, and then Marquille had to start the next week against Texas Tech. And he said after that game against Pitt, the backup quarterback position is the most interesting and challenging in all of sports. You prepare like you're the starter. You might not play for 3 hours. Then there's the rare occurrence, he says, when your number gets called, and that's today.
You never know when it's your turn. You never know. You're one play away. You have to have that mentality, that mindset. You're one play away from going in the game and having to be the savior for your football team. The one thing that I can say, Garrett Green goes down, he's being attended to. There was no panic on that sideline. The play calls were run, but when they asked Marquille to have to make a throw, he delivered down here in the red zone.
So Neil Brown going to his backup quarterback with the injury to Garrett Green here in this first quarter. And West Virginia's got the 10-point lead on Oklahoma State.
Yeah, surprising, right? This is the road team. Their first flight of the year, Mike. Everything has been close by. You know, they had a bus trip over to Pittsburgh in the rivalry game of the backyard brawl, but they got on a flight to come here, and right now they've got the early lead. Still look like Oklahoma State still asleep.
Mike Hayes gets the kickoff away for a touchback. We check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Mike, number 1, Alabama is in trouble in Nashville. Trevor Maddich, this is Randon Fontenette on the pick 6.
Alabama coming off that big win over Georgia, and all of a sudden you get a ball tipped in the air. This adds to the opening drive touchdown by Vandy.
13-0, Mike, on the SEC network.
Yeah, it's still early in that football game, but I'm not surprised at all. Vandy off to a good start, and then thinking about the letdown after last week's big win, Alabama over Georgia.
Oklahoma State, meantime, gets it back with Ollie Gordon for a yard.
I don't have to say much. I think the fans here are hearing it as well. A couple bluebirds early on from this fan base. We've been used to seeing Ollie Gordon racking up 5-6 yards a carry, and right now just haven't seen the big play. These fans are a little restless here, trying to see this offense move down the field.
And they are force-feeding the ground in Ollie Gordon. Alan Bowman's only attempted 1 pass so far. Play action here with pressure coming, and Bowman had to check it down for Gordon. Wrapped up immediately. Tyron Bradley, who had a couple of turnovers last time out for West Virginia, forces 3rd down.
Well, this is an offense that doesn't give up sacks. Only 1 sack on the season. So trying to create pressure for West Virginia, how do they create pressure? They're probably not going to get to the quarterback, but just make him uncomfortable like they did on that last down.
And so at the end of the first quarter in Stillwater, it's all West Virginia so far. It's 16 total yards for the Cowboys. Meantime, what's the status of Garrett Green? He picked up 39 but got injured. And then Nico Marquille delivered a dot.
Simple shopping. That's all I want. I just want things to be fast and easy.
In the locker room, injured, Nico comes out. What did you tell him and what did you see from him?
Well, Nico won the game. He finished the game last time we were down here. We got a lot of confidence in him. We'll call the game just like we've been calling it, even though Garrett's in the locker room right now. I think too early to see what it is. I'll get some more information before halftime.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Don, thank you. And then on third down to start the second quarter, Alan Bowman incomplete for Dejon Stribling, and Oklahoma State can't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, only 16 total yards, Mike, in that first quarter for Oklahoma State's offense. Ollie Gordon, the receivers Presley, and only 16 yards. And the Oklahoma State offense that's just struggling right now.
Hudson Cock doesn't get away a good one. It heads toward midfield and plops down at the 40. Picked up by Preston Fox, and he gets leveled out of bounds just outside the 35. So West Virginia's got the lead, and they've got their backup quarterback in on the road in Stillwater. During the break, Garrett Green just came out of the tunnel with a determined look on his face, Don Davenport.
Yeah, I was in the tunnel watching him put his pads and his uniform back on. I'm not sure the training staff was sold on him coming back in this game yet, but he was adamant. I am playing in this game.
And then he took some throws coming out on the sideline as well. And this is a kid who is ultra competitive. But for now, Nico Marchiol stays in there for West Virginia early on in this second quarter. Marchiol will tuck it with a lane up ahead, and Marchiol goes banging off bodies to the 45. Ran over Cale Smith at 223 pounds. Nico Marchiol.
I'm shocked, Mike. I'm just watching the middle of the field. He's wide open. He's one-on-one with one of the best tacklers in Trey Rucker for Oklahoma State. Runs right through him. Marchiol, 6'2", 223 pounds, lowering the boom. Mike, I'm still shocked watching him run through that open field.
It's exactly what Neil Brown said and what you had said previous to his interview. The offense isn't going to change for West Virginia. Marchiol. Pump fake, couldn't slip free from Kendall Daniels.
And this is what I talked about, Mike. That play is not going to work. That's probably a play you call for Garrett Green. They ran that same play for Nico Marchiol, and he has to turn and contort his body all the way back around. If this is a right-handed quarterback, you can run this play, but you see how Marchiol has to stop and try to square his body up to throw because he's left-handed. This is what I talk about. The play calling will change in terms of flipping the formation to allow him to throw on the run.
And Neil Brown calling the plays again this year like last year for West Virginia. Second down and 12 in plus territory. Jaheim White bounces it outside. He's got speed, and White gets shoved out of bounds at the 25 by Rucker.
When you have no edge, you have no chance. There's no edge on the defense. Dylan Smith is sort of supposed to be the edge. He's the late defensive back on coverage. Watch 11 to the left of your screen. He's got to be there. He misses the tackle. There's no one out there. You got to hold an edge. When I say hold an edge, Mike, there has to be someone that makes the ball go back inside. If no one does that, that ball's going right up the sideline for a big gain.
22 is the big game. The sixth play for the Mountaineers of at least 10 already in this first half. Marchiol on a draw. Plenty of running room before he gets undercut by Trey Rucker. Another first down.
I love the big guys up front, right? Remack, 55. Also the tight ends, Davis and Taylor. They're getting some good push up front. And Marchiol looks to be shaken up after that last run, but the offensive line doing a good job. Watch how these blocks are developing. They set up, they get the kick out. You get the tight end, Cole Taylor, who's been leading the way. And you've got these running backs and quarterbacks now getting some big gains.
We've only had 8 pass attempts combined in this game so far in the first half.
No, this is not Army-Navy, I know, Mike.
White with wiggle. And he gets plopped down at the 10 by Dylan Smith after 5.
I'm seeing some poor tackling from Oklahoma State at the point of attack. I mean, these are 4- and 5-yard gains just because of the poor tackling. Guys not in their gaps. And I'm looking at a lot of hands on hips, a lot of tired Oklahoma State Cowboys on defense. It looks like they're the road team, where West Virginia right now is having their way, getting some great push up front.
Remember the Pokes defense under Brian Nardo, 5th worst in the country so far in total defense. The focus for them has been limiting the explosives they've been giving up. West Virginia's getting 6 yards a carry. On second down, they string it out for White. Seam, end zone, touchdown. Jaheim White, and it's 16-0 Mountaineers. And this place has gone silent.
They're trying to bring pressure. Look, they're bringing guys off of this edge, right? But all West Virginia does is run away from the blitz. When you run away from the blitz, a little easier. Less numbers and less guys that have to deal with. Oklahoma State brings the blitz. You run away from the blitz. You run into the end zone for a touchdown. Jaheim White.
And how about Jaheim White getting fed? 8 carries for 57 and a touchdown. Neil Brown said to us this week, we need to run the ball at a higher level. And Chad Scott told us we got to get White and Donaldson going. They are making good on both of those statements. And West Virginia is making a statement in Stillwater.
Yeah, it's the Mountaineers on their first journey, their first trek of the season on a flight. But they've come in right now, and they're stomping over the Cowboys to start this game.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Sling. Let's take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings. Those are brought to you by AT&T. Missouri got whacked today, and Alabama trails Vandy.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Look, they had a big win over Georgia right now. How do both Georgia and Alabama respond right now? Georgia as well. They're in a bit of a tight one with the Auburn Tigers. It's a little fun, but look at Missouri. They lost to A&M. Who does that open the door for in the top 10? Is it USC? Is it Texas A&M? Is it Notre Dame? Who's going to be in that top 10? We know Missouri will not be there come next week.
You got 4 top 25 teams within the Big 12. And then you got these 2 teams here in Stillwater. Both were picked in the top half of the Big 12 in the preseason. Both brought back so much from last year off 9 and 10 win seasons. But this has been one-sided so far. Cale Cabanis, the wide receiver, has some running room out to the edge, and Cabanis turns it upfield, down the sideline, dragged down at the 40. Much needed for the Pokes. Let's check in with Kevin Connors.
All right, Mike, AT&T is keeping fans connected with our multi-view right now over on ABC. Trevor Etienne has a touchdown run. Georgia on top of Auburn. Ole Miss a couple of short touchdown runs to take the lead on South Carolina, and Jalen Milroe a touchdown run. It's now 13-7 Vandy on the SEC network. Mike.
Jalen Milroe touchdown run, rinse and repeat. Heard that before. 51 on the run back for Cale Cabanis, and now Bowman with a quick strike. He's got a completion to Brennan Presley. And what do the Cowboys got to do to get in gear offensively?
Well, I think right now is just positive plays. No holding calls. That's what stopped an earlier drive. But positive plays, stacking them together.
So pass, now run. Gordon a bounce, and Gordon gets submarined at the 25 by Anthony Wilson.
Yeah, that's a positive play. I want to see more from Ollie Gordon. I think he could have taken that one all the way to the end zone, just believing what he sees. But right now, the up-tempo has the West Virginia defense on its heels.
With a fresh set of downs, it's Gordon again. Got shoved back, and Gordon tumbles. We talked with Casey Dunn yesterday, and he said no matter what, I've got to keep feeding Ollie Gordon. They had a conversation with Ollie Gordon after 3 weeks. Mike Gundy pulled Gordon into his offense and said, you got to run harder. And because Gordon has done that, they feel like he has earned them sticking with the run, even if you go down by, like today, 17.
Yeah, just keep giving him the football, but he has to believe that if you keep pounding the rock, whether it's the 2-yard gain, the 3-yard gains, those are the runs that in the second half turn into 15, 20, and 30-yard gains. Just believe in the system.
That's exactly what happened last year in Morgantown. Bowman the play fake, down the seam, and he's intercepted by Jaheim Joseph. Just when Oklahoma State was moving, Bowman's picked, and it's all Mountaineers in the first half.
It was about run, and then when you have those opportunities to make throws in the passing game, you have to make those throws. But just watch think was over here late in the down, getting all the way over here and making the play. Jaheim Joseph does a good job of just reading the quarterback's eyes. Look, he's just in there, just reading the quarterback's eyes. Bowman takes him to the play, interception.
But Jaheim Joseph picks Alan Bowman.
Yeah, he's just staring at the quarterback. The quarterback's eyes leads him to an interception, and it stops the best drive of the day for Oklahoma State.
Meantime, Garrett Green is back into the ballgame. Fires incomplete for Rodney Gallagher. And so you got two sides of this. The fans in Stillwater were chanting, "We want Flores," which is Zane Flores, third-string quarterback for Oklahoma State, redshirt freshman. And meantime, look who's back in the game for West Virginia.
Yeah, Garrett Green. I mean, are we surprised that one of the toughest players that Coach Neil Brown talks about is back on that field? We saw him sprint from the locker room. We knew that he was going to return to this ball game.
From his own 13, he gives it to C.J. Donaldson, running hard into a physical Trey Rucker. Third down.
I'm just seeing a lot of missed gaps and assignments, right? A lot of guys just, they're going right through the teeth of this defense, right through the middle, where normally number 4, Nick Martin, if he was out there, would be right there in the middle. So trying to find out who are the leaders on this defense now with Colin Oliver, who's been out, Nick Martin, who's been out. Trying to find someone to kind of calm everybody in the middle.
Again, Mike Gundy said to us, if you're just joining us, those are their two best defensive players. Third down and 3. Pressure on Green, but it's picked up. Now he's flushed. A pump. Green spinning. Wow. Garrett Green a first down, and that's what he can do when he's in the game.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one on a defender because you're kind of in no man's land. You're seeing the quarterback and the pump fake. A lot of times you're not going to knock the ball down. I was taught you run through the quarterback. If he throws it, you're running through that quarterback, making him decide about that play. But when you jump, give up a first down.
So Green keeps it moving. He's carried it for 51 yards. Meantime, his center, Brandon Yates, is getting checked off. Sixth-year senior from Delaware. Longtime starter who has taken over at center for the second-round pick of the Steelers, Zach Frazier. Well, UFC 307 is tonight in Salt Lake City, and the main card begins at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view. Prelims at 8 Eastern on ESPN News, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. And to order the main card in English and Spanish, go to ESPNplus.com/PPV.
Wait, UFC 307?
You're a UFC guy, right?
Yeah, I remember I went to UFC 100. So there's been 200 and now 7 of these things. Wow, just how much the UFC has grown. But another amazing card tonight. I'll be looking forward to watching that one, hopefully on the plane.
Meantime, Garrett Green orchestrating this offense. And you talked about his grit and his toughness. And Neil Brown said it after their last game against Kansas. Neil Brown said, I might coach for a long time, and I might never have a player who is as competitive as Garrett Green is. He's got a new center, by the way. You see Landon Livingston, who's only had 5 snaps this year. We'll give it to Garrett Green in the shotgun. C.J. Donaldson, big lane again, and C.J. Donaldson bounces it with Green trying to supply a block before Kobe Hilton made the stop. 21 more.
The tight ends are doing a great job blocking. Again, just watch the tight ends. They come across, they get the nice little seal, and that's what's been this game so far. It's been the tight ends coming across, whether it's Cole Taylor, Traylon Davis. They are getting amazing kick-out blocks and not allowing these defenders to get 1, 2, or 3 hats to the ball.
See the total yardage discrepancy. Meantime, West Virginia's got a dozen first downs. The Cowboys have 2. Here's a reverse, a flea flicker. Green steps up, and he's got a lot of running room. Green slides down at the 45.
Quarterback scramble, number 6, Garrett Green.
Well, and a reminder, you mentioned this for Oklahoma State, what they are missing defensively. Nick Martin, who got injured last week in the 4th quarter when the score, by the way, was 42-13. Mike Gundy told us Martin's going to be out a while, and then they've long been without Colin Oliver since week 2 with a Jones fracture in his foot. On 2nd and 4, it's White squirming ahead to the 40, first down.
Guys, I want to point out to Oklahoma State also without Dylan Smith in the secondary. He just headed to the locker room limping on his left ankle, even hopping into the tunnel. So that's another starter they are short today.
Yeah, and then also you have a crowd that's restless. It's quiet in this place. You know, usually you got those paddles going on down there, Don. Even the guys on the paddles aren't as loud as they normally. They're trying to get everybody going, getting excited, but right now this defensive performance is definitely underwhelming for them, not giving them any type of motivation.
Jaheim White finds a lane, and Jaheim White running over defenders inside the 20. Jaheim White is a man possessed. Took it past Cale Smith that time for 26.
Well, and if I'm Mike Gundy, I'll call timeout right now. This is, you can't do this. You got to call a timeout, bring your guys over. What are we doing defensively? We're missing tackles at the line of scrimmage, and then seeing guys not wrapping up, too many missed tackles. There's something going on that sideline, maybe calling a timeout, regrouping, or bringing some guys in that want to go out there and make some plays, because this has been a bad performance today.
And West Virginia's going to keep running it. 33 plays, 27 runs for the Mountaineers. Green tucks it, takes off, untouched, touchdown.
Touchdown, West Virginia.
A stunner in Stillwater.
You know things are going great when even the broken plays work. This was actually defensed well by Oklahoma State. Green comes out of the break, or comes out of the bootleg, tries to throw, it's defended. He just puts his foot in the ground, goes north, and he runs right into the end zone, untouched. West Virginia couldn't have scripted a better start to this football game.
Garrett Green back into the game after he got injured earlier this half, and he marches in from 16 yards out.
And we keep speaking about not having number 4 Nick Martin in the football game. So you have a bunch of new guys in here trying to find a way. Number 32, Gabe Brown, he's the one in the middle. He's going with all the action, and he's the last line of defense that could have brought the quarterback, Garrett Green, down. He's a half step too slow, and Green runs into the end zone. This has been a clinic on toughness up front. They are willing to run the ball. We're not even going to try to throw. We're just going to punish you down the field. I've been impressed with this offensive line of West Virginia. Oklahoma State's offensive line was supposed to be the most experienced, and yet it's West Virginia's offensive line doing the pushing around.
And how about Neil Brown in West Virginia? Frustrated, he told us embarrassed by week 1 against Penn State. Then they blow the lead in week 3 in the backyard brawl. But they came back their last game before the bye 2 weeks ago against Kansas. And then they've done this so far in 25 minutes. And remember, they're 1-0 in the Big 12. They've got their whole season in front of them still.
A lot of football left to be played. And what a bye week has done for them. They had an off week, and they got back to basics. And those basics were learning how to continue to run the football. They're showing what they did all bye week.
Mike Hayes with the touchback. Tonight, ABC, 7:30 Eastern. It's number 4 Tennessee. They're coming off a bye as well. Last we saw Josh Heupel, he was emotional in the locker room in Norman. They take on Arkansas. And how good has Tennessee been? The point differential is gaudy. And what do you think about their offense?
Well, I think their offense, we're going to see them have to take some strides now. You get deep in the SEC play, you're going to start to have to throw the football a little bit. It's been all about the running game, but we'll see with the quarterbacks now. Can they start to make some hay in the throwing game?
Well, here's Ollie Gordon hurdling for a first down. Something's got changed for the Cowboys, and Ollie Gordon's trying to take it into his own hands.
Yeah, you don't want to question number 0. Ollie Gordon, he's one of the best players in America for a reason, showing you on that last play.
Now they spit it out quick, and it's Brennan Presley navigating for a first down. Up-tempo's working for the Cowboys.
I mean, Mike, you down 24 points. You better do something. Because what you're doing in the early parts of the first half is not working. So this up-tempo is now putting West Virginia having to play sort of vanilla, not making a lot of calls, but making things have to happen quickly as the Oklahoma State offense.
With Alan Bowman operating, the 7th-year senior quarterback. Gordon, just a yard. You know, with Alan Bowman as well, we asked Mike Gundy how would you kind of assess his play. Because remember, a couple weeks ago against Utah here, they gave him a blow. They gave him a reset. They benched him for a stretch in the second half. And Mike Gundy said there's been really good times, and there's been really bad times as well. He was honest about the play of the veteran quarterback.
Yeah, he's been a Tuesday, Thursday guy. Tuesday's been great, but then sometimes you get to Thursday, and it's not so great. They want to see consistency Monday through Sunday.
Gordon again. Yeah, it's a couple of yards. Sets up 3rd down. What have you seen on film from Alan Bowman?
Well, it's been the ups and downs. Sometimes he makes a great throw, and you're like, that's what you want to see. And then there's other times he makes a poor throw, or a throw that just misses a receiver. And he's like, you got to make those types of plays. They're now in 4-down territory, Mike, and we're still 4 minutes left to go in the first half. If they don't get it here, they're definitely going for it on 4th down.
Casey Dunn insisted they would stay committed to the run. 3rd down, got to go to the air, and Bowman fires incomplete. Looking for Dejon Stribling, one of his top targets. 4th down, offense stays out.
But that's what I was talking about. That's the exact play I was talking about. Those are the plays you have to make. You have to convert that. That's an open wide receiver who found the hole in the zone and yet could not be completed from the quarterback to wide receiver. Yes, you're going for it. You have to go for it. Down 24. 4th and 7, yes, you got to find it. But who is the go-to receiver? Who's the guy to have it guy?
On 4th down, in plus territory. They bring just 3. Bowman fires for Presley. That's who. Presley steps up in a big collision. Has 3 Mountaineers slow to get up, including Garnett Hollis.
And this is a tight window throw. The best throw of the day so far from Bowman. He gets it over the outstretched arms of the linebacker or the rover player in Jaheim Joseph in between 2 safeties. And Presley, to being able to actually hold on to that football, that's probably the most impressive part about that play. But a nice throw from Bowman. This is what we just talked about. The good throws versus the bad throws. That was a great throw.
Oh, we'll check on Garnett Hollis while we have a moment. Let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, Mike, Cedric Alexander's 2nd touchdown run has given Vandy a 27 lead on Alabama.
Yeah, their first drive, it was a 10-play touchdown drive. 3rd play, 17-play touchdown drive.
Commodores up on the SEC network. Mike.
All right, Kevin, Trevor, thank you guys. And you had wondered, who do you go to on 4th down and 7? Casey Dunn said to us yesterday, like has often been the case in Brennan Presley's 5 years here, he's got to have the football.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Was it going to be number 80? But he was in the slot. So sometimes the slot guy doesn't get a chance to get down the field. You're going to look towards your X or your Z on the out. That time, it was just enough time to throw the football. And also West Virginia rushed 3. When you rush 3, you're giving the quarterback enough time to make the right throw. But it was in a tight window that Bowman had to get that ball in there.
Garnett Hollis, by the way, got assistance going back toward the West Virginia locker room. One of the top corners who transferred in from Northwestern. Bowman picked up 24 on that throw. He had thrown for 22 in total before. Gordon in motion, they get it to him. Ollie Gordon on the move to the edge. Gordon is wrangled down near the 10. Ushered out by Dantes Fagan and company after 7.
I love what Casey Dunn did there, right? I have to get Ollie Gordon involved. Either he's running the ball from the backfield or getting the ball to him out of the backfield in a reception. Just getting the ball in number 0's hands is going to be better for our offense. And I like that one. He's able to find and dictate how he wants to run the football, too. Right? He can get to the outside, cut it back to the inside, but I love when Ollie Gordon has those shoulders going square, going north.
And now I formation, Jake Schultz motions, Gordon behind him, and Gordon picks up enough for a 1st down.
The defense was a little off for a minute. They saw the tight end, Tyler Foster. They thought it was a false start, so they actually sort of stopped and said, wait, they start pointing, and yet Oklahoma State snapped the football and ran right through there. So they get the 1st down because the defense of West Virginia stopped because they thought they saw a false start.
Cowboys are staying committed to the run, even though they're down 24. And now play fake. Bowman, back corner of the end zone, incomplete for the tight end Tyler Foster with Josiah Trotter in coverage.
Josiah Trotter, we had a great conversation with him this week, and it was about more of his zone drops. We didn't talk about the man drop. This was a man coverage. Josiah Trotter on the island, spider 2, Y banana. That's the Y right there, get in the back of the end zone. And Trotter, like his dad, Jeremiah, the one-time linebacker in the National Football League, knocking that ball away. Good job by the young Josiah.
Is that actually what that play call was?
It was. Spider 2, Y banana to the left.
Shouts to Gruden. 10th play upcoming. Bowman on a draw. Gets dropped immediately. Tyron Bradley. Now 3rd down.
Staying home was Bradley. He's a Spur. Watch how he fights through. Remember I talked about holding an edge early on? That's how you hold an edge. Tyron Bradley shows you how to hold an edge. Go from outside in, made the ball, turn back in, but just not content when doing his job. He goes and makes the play.
Big 3rd down and goal, creeping towards the 2-minute timeout that we hit. Oklahoma State needs a touchdown on this drive. We hit the 2-minute timeout in Stillwater. It's been all West Virginia. The Cowboys are trying to get on the board.
Alabama. Mike, coming up when you join us at the half.
All right, Kevin. Meantime, Oklahoma State's got to have points on a big 3rd down and goal, and you're watching 80, Brennan Presley.
Yeah, he was in the backfield. Now they just motioned him out. He's in the slot again.
Slot right. Alan Bowman fires, end zone caught by Rashad Owens. Touchdown, Cowboys. They needed that in a major way.
A little bit of sigh of relief there from the fans. But a nice job by Alan Bowman. He learned from the last opportunity, right? The interception, his eyes took the defenders to the play. This time, he was able to look everyone off. He started right and kept his eyes on Presley and then came back for the touchdown throw.
Replay having another look at that to confirm the touchdown for Rashad Owens, 5th-year senior who had the breakout season last year after he waited his turn, changed positions, added and lost weight, and he's got Oklahoma State on the board late in his first half. Logan Ward tacks on the extra point.
I just want you to watch the quarterback's eyes. Where is he looking at? He looks to the right first, and it brings the linebacker, Trey Lathan, out of the window. So just the initial look to the right brought that linebacker out of that window, and that's where Bowman was able to come back and find Owens for the touchdown.
So for Oklahoma State offensively, you go down 24. There's boos in this stadium no matter what they call. But Casey Dunn showed he was going to stay committed to the run. And that's what he had told us this week. Is that the right move in your mind? Are you okay with how this offense has looked given the score?
Yeah, I think with it still being in the first half and feeling like we got to keep pounding the rock. We got to keep pounding the rock. And we also get the ball to start the second half. We just need a couple of drives. And that was the best drive of the day for them because they completed it. They completed it with the touchdown where they had the interception in the prior drive. So to me, the confidence is now building. You got Ollie Gordon involved. You got Presley involved. But more importantly, you got the quarterback with a couple of confident throws involved.
The margin is 17 for West Virginia. You're on the road at Boone Pickens Stadium. Traylon Ray's back deep for the Mountaineers. And it's a touchback. Well, Kevin Connors was talking about the service academies. You said West Virginia is acting like one.
They sure are, whether it's Garrett Green, Nico Marquillo, Jaheim White, C.J. Donaldson Jr., everybody has had their way with this Oklahoma State rushing defense. Nice job of blocking up front by this offensive line, but I think the tight ends have been the big key to why this running game has worked. They've been able to get some good kick-out blocks, and then the quarterback's making some right reads and going right through the teeth of the defense that's missing its leader in Nick Martin.
And now $154 to work with for West Virginia. All 3 timeouts for both teams. In motion, Rodney Gallagher gets swarmed immediately. Took the leg from Jeff Robertson.
Yeah, that's a nice play right there. That's good team defense because Kendall Daniels held an edge, right? He went to the outside, turned the ball back in, and Robertson's there for the cleanup.
And Oklahoma State takes its first timeout. Well, we talked about the bye week last week for West Virginia. Not too far from Pittsburgh, of course. And with the Brewers in town and Garrett Green's father, Charlie, is on staff, the bullpen coach for Milwaukee. Neil Brown, his family, Garrett, and like 15 of his teammates, Don Davenport, they went up for the game and they learned a lesson.
Yeah, Coach Neil Brown found a parallel that he presented to his team. He said the Brewers wore shirts that said, "Win one tonight." That team didn't worry about the series, didn't look ahead, only concerned about the one today. So he came back, told his team, guess what? That's the mentality that we need to have. This month's Big 12 schedule is brutal for them, but they've got to win this one today for it to matter.
Yeah, they've got Iowa State, they've got Kansas State, Arizona next up, but all they're focused on is this one in Stillwater. Out of the timeout, second down, Garrett Green, long throw, got it there, complete for a first down, Hudson Clement. A dozen yards to one of the top targets for the Mountaineers.
And a miscommunication there on the Oklahoma State defense. That kind of changed their way of ending the half. They were calling timeouts. They were hoping to get a stop on second down. But that completion now definitely changes how they go about ending this first half defensively, and now keeps it going for West Virginia offensively.
From the 38 on the ground, Donaldson stayed patient. C.J. Donaldson out to the 43-yard line.
Yeah, I love what you just said there. Patience. And watching Donaldson and its offensive line operate, it's been their patience of allowing the holes to develop. If it's not there, wait a half a second, wait a beat, and try to find the opening, the gap that's open.
Donaldson again finds the cutback lane, and he bangs into Jaleel Johnson for a first down.
Just riding that wave. They ride the wave, and there's the break. There's the open, and Donaldson finds it.
Sheds his mouth guard, and now Green to the air. Green scrambling in a race to the sideline, and Garrett Green will tiptoe out of bounds at the 40. And Garrett Green's got enough for a first down.
The ability to run, the ability to keep plays alive. The late substitution there by Oklahoma State defensively. Not everybody was on the same page. Garrett Green sees that, calls for the snap, and then finds a way to make a play when there's nothing there.
Everyone getting involved in the run game for West Virginia. Got 59 seconds to work with from the plus 41. Already up by 17. Green, one-on-one downfield, incomplete. Intended for Preston Fox, but Corey Black was draped all over him.
Yeah, nice job by Black. He's the fastest of all the corners, maybe the fastest guy on this Oklahoma State defense, or team for that matter. And he just does his job. He's the quiet leader on this defense. He stays in phase. I think he's more upset at himself because that should have been an interception for Corey Black.
He's got a couple of them this year, including last week in the first half in Manhattan against Kansas State. Still 52 seconds, all three timeouts for the Mountaineers. Green on second down, across the middle, he's got it complete. Cole Taylor bangs inside the 20.
That's a nice block by Jaheim White. It wasn't a major block. It wasn't those, blocks that put you in the hole, but sometimes a block is just getting in the way, and got in the way for just enough time to allow his quarterback to hit Taylor for a first down.
Under 40 seconds after 21 yards, and now it's White getting the carry to the 16. Kendall Daniels the stop, and Neil Brown will take his first timeout with 35 seconds to go until halftime.
What a response from West Virginia, right?
Well, with West Virginia, like you said, on the road here in Stillwater, you got to go back a couple of years to find West Virginia's win here. It's their only one in the last 9 meetings between the Cowboys and the Mountaineers. A game in which Garrett Green got injured, Nico Marchiol came off the bench, and Jalen Anderson had a very big day.
Yeah, a lot of confidence in the guys who they have now who are here and understand that, look, we got to go out there and bring the fight to them. And that's what I've seen from the Mountaineers today. They were also talking about last year. They lost an opportunity. They were in that game last year in Morgantown, and they lost it at the end. They know that in the Big 12 play, you got to start fast. That's the reason why they're up right now in this game.
And they're looking to add on before halftime. 35 seconds to work with. 2 timeouts on both sides.
They got to keep a spy on the quarterback.
Donaldson. Stiff arm. Donaldson, a touchdown. That is grown man strength from C.J. Donaldson. Right in the face of Lyric Rawls for the touchdown.
Man, I see Derrick Henry do this every single Sunday, but C.J. Donaldson says that I can do it too. And that's a left-handed stiff arm that gets the defender down to the ground. Donaldson gets into the end zone, and yeah, that's a confident running back looking to, yeah, I just did that. I did that.
How about this powerful statement from West Virginia and this ground game powering the Mountaineers? They've gone field goal, touchdown, 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 touchdown on their 5 drives in the first half.
You couldn't script it up any better. They finished drives with touchdowns. Their last 4 drives with touchdowns, Mike. And you know what? It's not like they're throwing the ball like it's a run and shoot offense, right? This isn't the air raid. They are running the football. They're getting downhill. They're being patient in the running game. And the answer to the score from Oklahoma State, that's the way you want it if you're the Mountaineers.
They have stuck to their script. 43 plays in this first half. 34 of them runs. And with so many questions on the Oklahoma State side about their offense coming into this, their running game, the questions are larger right now about their defense.
You give up 31 points in the first half, there's some questions that have to be answered at halftime. There's some questions that I have to look around at the guys. If I'm Brian Nardo, the defensive coordinator, hey, who wants to play? Who wants to win? Who wants to clean this up? Because you can't go out there with that same kind of effort, because you got to be better. I mean, just the way that the Mountaineers are running through this defense, you got to start looking guys in the eye and say, who wants it more? Because that team over there has come in and definitely have put it to us so far.
It's only the second time in the last 20 seasons that Oklahoma State has trailed by at least 20 in the first half of a conference game at home. This is practically unparalleled. Brennan Presley from just outside the goal line. And Presley is taken down shy of the 30. We'll kick off week 5 of the NFL with the Sunday NFL Countdown crew at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And the Monday Night Football matchup features the Chiefs and the Saints. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes. Peyton and Eli on E2, joined by Coach Belichick. And I know you're wondering about Davante Adams.
It could be the Davante Adams Bowl. Think about it. The Chiefs are down a receiver in Rashee Rice, Derek Carr, the former teammate, college teammate of Davante Adams. Could they make a play for the receiver with the Raiders?
Pokes to the air, and they get it complete to Dawan Lofton, the transfer who'd been banged up earlier this year, makes an appearance and hauls it in from Alan Bowman.
Yeah, I think right now with 16 seconds left, you're hoping to get something positive, but also you don't want a negative play. I would also just try to find a way to go in at halftime, make some corrections.
They're trying to get something. Bowman, sideline, and incomplete. Into a tight window with Aiden Garnes in coverage against Dejon Stribley.
I'll be honest with you, would you like to make matters worse? I don't know if I do that here. With 10 seconds left on the clock, I just say, you know what, take my medicine. Let's go into halftime. Let's talk about how we attack this football team in West Virginia in the second half. I only see negative plays right here with 10 seconds left. Not much you can do to end this half, and you get the ball to start the second half.
Final 10 seconds, and Bowman's throwing again, scanning, incomplete. Intended for Ollie Gordon.
He's not even hitting the checkdowns. The checkdowns are your layups. Those are the ones you can do in your sleep. And he's having a tough time seeing the field. I mean, he had an outstanding throw to Owens for the touchdown, but the prior series he had the interception. So right now, does not look like a confident quarterback. Doesn't look like a confident quarterback to you right now in Bowman?
No, and not the way the last couple of weeks have gone. Cowboys will just send it to halftime here. And they've got a lot to sift through as the boos again rain down in Stillwater after what was a dominant first half for West Virginia. Neil Brown takes his team into Stillwater and has left this place booing the Cowboys. Mountaineers love it. The Principal Financial Group halftime report is on the way with Trevor Managers, Kevin Connors.
Mike, a 3-1 end.
By Jaheim Joseph, and Ollie Gordon had to go off the field after this tackle came in on the right knee.
Yeah, and he was able to kind of walk off with his own power, had a little bit of assistance, but that's a big change of events, not just for this game, maybe for the rest of the season.
Hudson Cox punt comes to a settle inside the 30. Well, last week after the game for Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon afterward was getting his left knee iced. He had it checked on the sideline, it looked like a couple of times. Ollie Gordon now, what do you think this means for him?
Well, I think for me, if I'm Ollie Gordon, I'm putting myself in his shoe. This is not him, this is me. I probably played my last play at Oklahoma State.
Whoa, really?
I would think so. Because his ultimate goal is to get to the National Football League. He's won a Doak Walker. He's won the Offensive Player of the Year in the Big 12 last year. He wants to be in the National Football League. Right now, my health is my concern. I got to look out for Ollie, and that may be his last play at Oklahoma State.
Jaheim White to the edge and out of bounds at the 40. He's a top 10 running back according to Mel Kiper Jr. And to be clear, you're saying not because of what an injury is here, you're just saying because of injury scares.
Yes.
For that reason.
Yeah, because of injury scares, but then also, too, you look at this list of running backs on Mel Kiper's board, Ollie Gordon, to me, is really a top 5 back. And I think next year he still will be drafted. I remember last year Jonathan Brooks tore an ACL and was still the first running back taken in the 2024 draft. Ollie may have to start thinking about himself as this game or this season continues. Not really much to play for. I don't know if this team's going to win a conference championship. I don't know if this team's going to win or get to a college football playoff. And so you ask yourself, if you're Ollie Gordon, what's best for Ollie? And an injury right there on an offense without a quarterback playing well, do you want to continue to take hits game in and game out?
Interesting point, and we'll see. And obviously, first and foremost, hope for the best, whatever the injury situation is right there for Ollie Gordon.
But I did think that this week he did not speak to the media, did not talk to the media at all this week. So a lot of, for me, things to talk about this week about Ollie Gordon's future.
Garrett Green spit it out quickly for Traylon Ray, who steps out of bounds at the 36 after 15. So you're talking about a guy who last year ran for more than 1,700 yards, the most in the country. This is where Ollie Gordon ranks since the start of last season.
Yeah, to me, it's no doubt about who is one of the better backs. Genty, we've seen Amarian Hampton, Judkins is out there. Ollie Gordon is in that same class. I think he'll test well. He's got great film from last year, but it's just, for me, it's tough the way this offense is playing this season for him to want to come back with loaded boxes every single week.
Jaheim White to the 32. They had a conversation with Ollie Gordon as well earlier this season, and they were saying, look, if you're doing the pitter-patter behind the line of scrimmage instead of just getting downhill immediately one cut, they said to him, you're more likely to get hurt that way.
Yeah, and I understand that totally. You know that there's always a risk involved in playing this sport. But then also there's the possibility of what could be ahead of you, and that's the National Football League. That's something that he's going to think about.
Garrett Green lofts it, incomplete, out of the reach of Hudson Clement with pressure applied. And now third down coming up.
And now if you're West Virginia, they kind of sit back. Think about the best weapon on the opposite side is Ollie Gordon. He's on the sideline. Will he return? That's left to be said. You've got a quarterback that's not playing well in Bowman. And so if I'm Garrett Green, if I'm Neil Brown, C.J. Donaldson, you realize that a score on this drive, honestly, I know it's the beginning of the third quarter, but you almost can feel like it may be the nail in the coffin this early in the second half.
On third down, it's a run for C.J. Donaldson, and he's 2 yards short. Fourth down and 2. Kobe Hilton in on the stop for Oklahoma State.
And fourth down Neil. That's what we should call him, right?
Yeah.
Fourth down Neil Brown. That's what you're going to call him. Is he's probably going to go for this. He's been aggressive all game long. And I wouldn't blame him the way that the offensive line has played. They bring in a different quarterback. They bring in Markiel at quarterback.
And Nico Markiel comes on. And now we will get a stoppage before fourth down with a West Virginia player who went down right after Markiel came on. We'll step aside. First 5 minutes of the third. And we will check on Tomas Rimac when we come back. Well, there's the Taco Bell Live Más student section, and all season long, student sections across the country, they're competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Well, at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, a sellout of more than 52,000. And you know, it always means here the paddle people will be going. They've not had a lot to cheer about because of how good West Virginia's been and how poor Oklahoma State's been.
Yeah, and that's kind of concerning because you expected so much more from this football team, and you're not seeing it today. Back-to-back losses, and the way that the start to this football game has been trying to rally the troops.
All right, ball's at the 28-yard line on fourth down for West Virginia. It's not Nico Markiel, it's Garrett Green instead, who returns after Markiel had come out before Rimac went down. C.J. Donaldson stacked up, pushing the pile, and Donaldson appears to be short. Oklahoma State tightens up and gets a stop, and it's a turnover on down.
And it was Jeff Robertson that came in there. They built a nice wall, but Robertson was able to come in and clean things up. He got a nice alley and a nice crease. It went through and made the play.
Colin Clay helped out as well, and the Cowboys are trying to grab whatever momentum they can here down big.
That's a big stop. You think about it, they score or continue to get any kind of points on that drive. West Virginia feels like they're in a comfortable situation. But now Oklahoma State has the ball. They have to do something offensively, find and create some type of big play.
Sesi Vailahi, Ollie Gordon's backup, gets the carry. And he takes it out for 3 yards before he ran into Josiah Trotter, one of the leaders for West Virginia defensively.
And a first down run. We've seen that all game long. At some point, you're going to have to ask Alan Bowman, this may turn into an air raid offense to get back in this game.
Bowman thought about the check down, and there's nowhere to go. Bowman gets dropped by Hammond Russell, a loss of 7.
And the only second sack of the season for this offense. They don't get sacked often. He gets the ball out quickly. So to me, that tells me he's trying to find something. He's going through his progressions. There's just nowhere to go with the football, and he takes the second sack for this offense on the season.
And he spits it out on average in 2.3 seconds. That is the 6th fastest in the country, even faster than he was operating last year. Now third down and long. 4-man rush. Bowman across the middle. He's got it complete. It's Daewon Lofton into plus territory inside the 40. And the transfer hooks up with Bowman for the big hitter.
And he was able to layer this thing. When I say layer, it was kind of a rainbow over the linebacker, Carrico. A nice job there, Alan Bowman, getting the ball right where it needed to be.
And now Bowman, another quick one. Sideline nearly intercepted by Aiden Garnes, who jumped it on Rashad Owens.
Garnes was already thinking about 6. He read that route the entire way. And remember, right before the game, I asked him, are you going to make any plays today? What did he say? Just watch. Well, he almost had a just watch play right there. If he's able to corral the football, that's 6.
Transfer from Duquesne. Bowman on second down. Still searching for somewhere to go, and there's sack number 3. And the second one on this drive. Fatorma Mulba for a loss of 9.
And they continue to apply pressure on the quarterback Bowman. This is not where he's best at. Analyzing the defense. He's got to get rid of the football. Another coverage sack.
3rd and 19. Bowman, a check down. Vailahi out of bounds, run out by Tyron Bradley. Right near the line of scrimmage. 4th down. How about Jordan Leslie's defense today for West Virginia?
I mean, they've been outstanding. But I'm more or less looking at the sideline of Oklahoma State. Just, I don't see any passion. I don't see anybody just urging the guys on a little bit. Just a lot of guys just standing around, hoping someone makes a play. And with Ollie Gordon on the sideline, someone else on this offense has to step up.
4th down and long midway through the 3rd quarter. Bowman a clean pocket. Nowhere to go. Bowman scrambles, pressured, and just lobs it up. And on the sideline, that is intercepted. Picked off by Josiah Trotter on 4th down for the Mountaineers.
Wow, what a play by Trotter. I know this makes Papa proud. Josiah Trotter said, I need reps at tight end, coach. He grabs it and gets 2 inbounds for the pick.
Josiah Trotter, the redshirt freshman, and yes, the son of the 4-time Pro Bowler Jeremiah.
And what a play. And he puts the hat on. Oh, yeah, that's a hard hat. Putting in the work, putting in the time. Man, it was a great conversation we had with him this week. He was talking about his zone drops and how the game has slowed down for him. And he had to watch this game last year. And so he was excited to be able to go out and play against Ollie Gordon. But more importantly, he went and got him an interception today.
Hey guys, just so told me that his dad had him watching film of their football games starting at 8 years old. Every game, every practice, taped, broken down afterwards.
He got the pick.
He got the pick. I'm not surprised at all.
You saw Garrett Rangel, by the way, warming up. Perhaps that interception is the end of the day for Alan Bowman. Midway through the 3rd, it's been all West Virginia and Jaheim White, who's had a big day before that carry. 14 totes for 118 yards.
Yeah, the rushing attack between White and also Donaldson has been the story of the game. And when they've gotten to those 3rd and mediums, the quarterbacks have really come alive, whether it's Marquio or also Garrett Green. They found ways to extend the drives. So this second half seems to be one in which they want to go out and continue to convert, getting into those 3rd and shorts, and find ways to put more pressure on the defense that's missing some of their standout players.
And Nick Martin and Colin Oliver. Meantime, Garrett Green, who got dinged up in the 1st half, but has toughed it out and returns, like you mentioned. Here's the 2-way player, Rodney Gallagher, gets popped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 1. Good tackle by Kendall Daniels.
Daniels, one of those guys filling in on that linebacking spot. They wanted to activate 5. That was the terminology they used. Want to activate Kendall Daniels. Going to have a big game, but when you're seeing so many guys in there trying to be in the right spot, trying to make plays, there's just too many missed tackles throughout this game.
Daniels, in the words of Brian Nardo, has had a phenomenal season at linebacker this year, changing positions. White and Donaldson in there. 4-man rush. Green rifles Ray. 1st down. Traylon Ray picks up a dozen from Garrett Green.
Yeah, Garrett Green only his 11th passing attempt, but look at the pocket. Clean pocket, deliver and throw. That's difficult for any secondary defender. When you've got a quarterback that's in rhythm and on time, that ball's delivered coming out of the break. An outstanding catch by Ray.
On 1st down from midfield, Donaldson, just the yard. Got thrown to the turf there. But big bodies up front, and Iman Oates, good friends with Ollie Gordon.
Just getting off the blocks, making a play. Sometimes you want to see them sustain the block a little longer if you're West Virginia, but Oates able to split, get in behind, and make a nice play on 1st down.
So it sets up 2nd down and 9 inside of 5 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter.
There's a lot of confusion on that defense for Oklahoma State, communication.
And everyone trying to get aligned with the play clock winding down, delay a game.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
So that'll back up Garrett Green and the Mountaineers.
we've had a pretty clean game when it's come to penalties, right? When you look at both sides, we haven't had any procedural penalties. That's really the first one. And I'm surprised. I think it was also because of the substitutions by Oklahoma State and Green trying to get his guys lined up to what the defense is presenting. And that's what I think Coach Brown is upset about.
So second down and 14. Another four-man rush, clean pocket, Green. Sideline wants Ray, and he overshot it. As Ray was trying to break free from Cale Smith. Third down and long.
Yeah, they didn't want to hit one of those long, deep passes all game long. They haven't had any luck. But you get to the 3rd and 14, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to hand this ball off. They've been playing great defensively. You just talked about a quarterback change, possibly. We'll see who comes out for Oklahoma State on the next drive. But do you allow Garrett Green on 3rd and 14 to attempt to throw this deep? I don't think something short, intermediate, one of those catch and run elements. Oklahoma State showing pressure.
They bring it on Green. Got it away for Gallagher, who made the jumping catch. Comes up short of the sticks and had to dodge one of the officials as well, the umpire.
If the official was not there, that probably would have been a catch and run element, like I mentioned. They read Garrett Green read the all-out pressure. He got the ball out in front, but the adjustment by Gallagher having to go around the official is what got the stumble. Couldn't maintain his feet for first. Watch the official in the middle of the screen, the umpire. He's right in the way. He has to actually duck, and Gallagher had to adjust for that football.
And then as Gallagher planted his left leg, seems to be where the discomfort is. As they tend to Rodney Gallagher, let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Mike, Alabama trailed 23-7, but suddenly Jalen Milroe and the Tide within 2.
Well, early in the game, they were having trouble. They threw a pick 6. They had a penalty on a punt that allowed Vanderbilt to extend a drive. Now they're starting to take over.
23-21, Mike, on the SEC Network.
Well, not surprised. They're going to find a way. The number 1 team kind of fumbled around a little bit. They're on the road. Emotional win last week at home versus Georgia. Took them a little bit of time, but when you had a quarterback in Milroe, it's pretty easy to just kind of follow his lead.
How about Ryan Williams and how good the freshman wide receiver has been? Coach Nick Saban was talking about it on game day, that his suddenness, that he can accelerate to top speed faster than maybe anyone Coach Saban remembers seeing at wideout.
It's funny. I was looking at some people talking about the lineage of just great football players from Alabama. And what Ryan Williams is doing in the early parts of his career, he may go down as the best wide receiver in Alabama history. That's what people are saying. And we're talking about Julio Jones, Devontae Smith, some outstanding players.
Mountaineers are going for it on 4th and 2. Quick hitter Cole Taylor moves the sticks. Got wrapped up immediately on the edge by Parker Robertson after 4.
How huge was the 3rd down, though? To be able to get to a position where you have the opportunity to go for it on 4th down. And Garrett Green, just a sprint right option to the outside. You hit Cole Taylor, who's having a monster game in the blocking, in the rushing game. We always say give the dog a bone a little bit, giving Taylor the tight end a little reception.
Yeah, he's known more for his pass catching. It's only his 2nd grab during a game in which West Virginia has not gone to the air very much. Donaldson looking for a cutback lane. Finds just a couple of yards. Brings up 2nd down.
And this is now the pro-style offense for West Virginia. They're utilizing that play clock. A little play clock right next to the game clock. They're snapping the football inside of 10 seconds. So this is the methodical drive that they're using every down in the series of downs that they get. And this is just an Oklahoma State defense team that just they don't have any answers.
Brian Nardo and Mike Gundy knew the challenge without Nick Martin today, adding to being without Colin Oliver the last few weeks. On the ground again, and Donaldson got tripped up and then brought to the turf. Loss of maybe a half a yard, 3rd down coming. And Neil Brown's got to like what he's seen all day. I mean, this is a team that entered this season with so many expectations because 9 wins last year was their best record since 2016, and then they were bringing back so much. And you lose to Penn State the way they lost. You blow the game against Pitt late, what they felt coming out of the backyard brawl. But they're trying to get to 2-0 in the Big 12.
Yeah, absolutely. They're confident now. I think they fixed some things offensively, defensively. They're developing their identity, and it's coming out today.
Third down, they keep it on the ground with White. Wiggle and a stiff arm, and White gets wrapped up short of the 30. Brings up fourth down.
Did they have stiff arm practice or something this week?
No kidding.
I mean, how many stiff arms have we seen from these running backs? They've secured the football in one arm, and they've utilized the stiff arm to perfection. They've extended plays because of the ability to use that stiff arm and keep defenders from getting to them.
It's a season high in rushing yards for Jaheim White today. He's up to $121. And fourth down, Neil Brown. Neil Breezy's thinking of another with 4th and 5 late in the third.
I think he'll call a timeout, think about it over there on the sideline, find the best play for him on 4th.
Takes his first timeout.
First charge timeout. West
Tonight
Virginia.
on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, number 4 Tennessee will take on Arkansas. The Vols, they got the best offense in the country. They've been explosive. They've got an elite running back in Dylan Sampson, and the defense has been much improved as well. And you talk about the running back matchup. We showed you the list of the best NFL prospects. Dylan Sampson is on that list, and Jaquindon Jackson on the other side for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge matchup. I love this between both teams, but for me, it's all about the quarterback. And can he start to make more plays in the passing game? I think the rushing attack, we know in the SEC, you got to run the football, but when there are plays to be made on those weighty downs, right? Third downs, red zone downs, can you make those types of plays? Big tests for both these teams tonight, especially Tennessee.
Who, after this, by the way, they still have games looming with Alabama and Georgia, so they'll get both of them down the stretch. All right, out of the timeout, Neil Brown sends the offense back out there. They're 2 for 3 on 4th downs in this game. And Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson, as we've seen a lot more of in this game than in the first 4 games for the Mountaineers, are both out there.
Watch the tight end in the slot too, Cole Taylor.
Slot right at 6'7". Green had the bobble. Green on the move. Green with his legs. He slides down, and Garrett Green is marked at the 27, but it's enough for a first down.
The ability to extend a play. That's been a story also of this football game. Garrett Green, that's a bad snap, bobbled snap, and yet he's able to turn a negative play into a positive play. That's an outstanding job. Now the only question is, when does he start that slide, and does that slide start before he reached the line to gain? I think that's why this play is under review from the replay booth.
They've been stressing so much to Garrett Green that he has to slide.
Right.
He heeded their advice here, but it's where the slide starts. Does it cost Garrett Green that he was paying attention and following coach's orders on this occasion?
And well, remember, earlier in the game, he had the shoulder injury. So he didn't probably want to lean forward, dive, and re-aggravate a possible injury. So as we look at it, when does the slide start? Remember, the call on the field was first down. They moved the chains. The first couple of views I've seen so far, I don't know if I've seen something that would change my view of what the call on the field was. I think they stayed with the call on the field for a first down. And judging by the quick review, I think that they'll uphold the call on the field of a first down.
The ball is dead when the quarterback initiated a slide at the 28-yard line. It'll be first down for Oklahoma State at the 28-yard line.
So Mike McCabe talking to the replay group. They said that the slide started at the 28 and Garrett Green needed the 27.
I think Garrett Green's upset because he knows he had more yardage there, but they say the 28.
Game clock operator, please restore the game clock to 35 seconds.
I guess it's the initial part of the slide. I felt that he had already had the line to gain when it seemed like he's actually going down. But the official, the replay booth see it differently.
Game clock operator, thank you.
And the loud cheers in Stillwater when the Cowboys are down 24 are for the backup quarterback, Garrett Rangel. Redshirt sophomore who got some time a couple weeks ago against Utah in the second half with 15 snaps. And he comes on here to replace Alan Bowman in the final minute of the third quarter. See Rangel and the particulars, an ESPN 300 recruit a few years ago. This is a guy who 2 years ago started 3 games, including against West Virginia. And then last year, remember, Oklahoma State was cycling through 3 different quarterbacks, including Rangel and Alan Bowman. The officials here are trying to figure out the time on the clock after the change of possession on what was the turnover on downs. Mike Gundy said recently about Garrett Rangel, he's played some, but he hasn't played a lot. So he's still at the point where we're not really sure what he's going to do, even though he has started a few games. So look back at the clock situation.
Game clock operator, please restore the game clock to 58 seconds.
We'll put 23 more seconds on the clock here for the Pokes to work with to close out the third quarter. Down 24, it seems like that's the way it's going to go for Mike Gundy, that you're going to go to Garrett Rangel. Brennan Presley, we'll see if he comes back out for any snaps as well. And of course, Ollie Gordon got dinged up earlier as well. So here's Rangel in a race to the sideline, tiptoes out of bounds, just past the line of scrimmage after a yard.
And right now, remember, this is an offense that's sort of one-dimensional. No Ollie Gordon in the backfield. We've already talked about that, but how do you get the offense going, and what is Rangel's strengths right now in trying to get the ball to certain guys that I don't know how many first team reps he's gotten all week long. We're going to find out right here.
Rangel to the air, and he's got it complete. Across the middle, appears to be enough for a first down for Dejon Stribling, the redshirt junior, for 11.
Just getting the ball out quickly, and this is what West Virginia is going to give them, right? This is their offense. They're only going to rush 3. They're going to play coverage behind. So can Rangel find the open guy with a quick release?
Sesi Vailahi on the ground gets a yard, and that'll take us to the fourth quarter. West Virginia put up 31 in the first half. A scoreless third quarter sends us to the fourth. And the Mountaineers have done it with their ground game, but also their defense, silencing the Cowboys in Stillwater.
Before heading into the fourth, what do you need to see from your team?
Well, we made a change of quarterback to get a little spark. We're obviously going to throw the ball a lot and mix in a little bit of run to keep them honest. Defensively, we got a couple stops. So I want guys to keep fighting right now, and let's try to play as fast as possible.
Appreciate you.
Long out thrown there to Dejon Stribling, incomplete from Garrett Rangel, as Mike Gundy said, making the quarterback change in place of Alan Bowman. Meantime, we have not seen Ollie Gordon return to the field, obviously. You wouldn't expect that either, but encouraging to see that he's got his helmet on, he's got the gloves on, and he's been up and down the sideline right near the field of play for the Cowboys. So that's a great sign after he went down with the injury earlier. Rangel on third down will check it down. It's Josh Ford, the freshman tight end, got wrapped up immediately by Ty French. Trey Lathan jumped in as well, and now it's fourth down.
And they're going to punt. I'm surprised, but there's Ollie Gordon.
First things first, injury-wise, it's very good to see that he's got his helmet on. He's going up and down the sideline.
I mean, that's a very positive sign, right? It doesn't seem like it's something that's going to be long-term, so you're excited about that. But right now, this offense just has had a poor showing today. And Rangel's in, and now they're punting the football on 4th and 9.
Hudson Cock, the left footer, gets away a great punt inside the 15, and Preston Fox, the fair catch at the 12. First minute of the fourth. West Virginia is rolling in Stillwater.
Good to see Texas A&M with a top 10 victory. That's going to add to their resume. They're right back in the hunt of not only the SEC, but also the college football playoff.
Marcus Freeman's Irish. West Virginia starts deep in its own territory with C.J. Donaldson getting tripped up by Lyric Rawls.
But how important was that bye week for Neil Brown and his football team? I mean, the more and more I kind of watch them, they get back to the basics. They said they did a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of good on good, but when you have a bye week 4 weeks into the season, you also get a lot of players' development time. And so now you add to your depth on this football team. I think their depth was shown today, especially at the running back spot, what they have going on, the tight ends, and this offensive line.
And then how about on the defensive side as well? What Jordan Leslie's done. Look, their defense, especially their pass defense, has come under a lot of criticism over the first few weeks of the season. But they have held Oklahoma State to just 7. Donaldson again. Tries to push the pile out to the 20. Brings up 3rd down and 2.
They did a lot of things that they talked about all week long, which was gap integrity. They did that. They found pressure. They've gotten sacks on the quarterback. And then also, too, they held edges. They brought an extra player to the party, meaning they brought extra players to the line of scrimmage, and they were able to bottle up Ollie Gordon, to bottle up any type of running game for Oklahoma State.
What do you think West Virginia's ceiling is this season? You've seen them twice now.
Oh, that's a good question, Mike. I'll be honest. I think that the next test for them is at BYU. I mean, that's going to be a game. I'm sorry, at Iowa. I mean, playing Iowa State at home. That's a good football team, Iowa State.
Jaheim White, 1st down on the jet sweep, out shy of the 35. Well, the road ahead, yeah, it's tough. But the other way to look at it is there's opportunities out there for him with ranked opponents coming up.
Yeah, that's the game I was looking at, the Iowa State game. That's a top 25 opponent, top 16, maybe moving up this week as well. And then you look at Kansas State. Arizona's going to be tough. Kind of light at the end, though, right? The 16th, 23rd, and 30th of November. Very winnable games as it looks right now, but they got a tough gauntlet that starts these next 3 weeks.
White on the ground, tripped up at about the 38.
When you're able to run the ball like they're doing right now, though, this is a positive. Because when you get on the road, you got to run the football, right? You got to be able to pack your run game. And they've been able to do that today.
We talk about some of these matchups. Iowa State's quarterback is Rocco Becht,
yes,
the son of a West Virginia great.
Correct.
And Anthony Becht. And Rocco Becht's been playing very well this year for Matt Campbell's team.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony Becht, good friend of mine. He'll be put into the West Virginia Hall of Fame next weekend. That's going to be pretty awesome. He goes into the Hall of Fame, and then also he gets to see his son go against his alma mater. So that'll be a nice little storyline next week for West Virginia and Iowa State.
Iowa State is the highest ranked Big 12 team as of right now on this opening weekend of October. 2nd down and 6, and Jaheim White goes spinning. He's got the stiff arm and the spin as well, and Jaheim White goes down at the 44 into plus territory after 18 more, and he's carried it for a $158 today.
This is an offense that's just running the football, a defense that knows they're going to run the football, and they still can't stop it. It's just been missed tackle after missed tackle. Multiple guys that are down near the line of scrimmage. Parker Robinson right there. He's at the point of attack, and then he misses a tackle. So this is one of those games where everybody's involved defensively and just not getting it done, and some folks are heading to the turnstiles.
Yeah, they've been filing out here from Boone Pickens Stadium in a one-sided affair. Best game of the season for Jaheim White. Garrett Green will throw. Deep shot. Downfield. Clement made the catch. A one-handed grab on Cam Smith inside the 5 for 40 for Hudson Clement.
They've been waiting all game long. They've tried this 9 route, this deep throw. They've been off. It's either long, it's been short. This time, it's a one-handed grab by Hudson Clement. One hand is all he needed. He didn't even catch it clean. It was just a small deflection. The ball goes down. He's able to corral it next to his body and bring that one in for a huge catch.
Former walk-on who's the leading receiver coming off 7 for 150 last time out against Kansas. First and goal, Nico Marchiol's in at quarterback. Marchiol off the right side, pylon. They mark him out at the 2. Pretty smart for West Virginia to take some hits off Garrett Green down in close quarters.
Yeah, especially down here inside the 5-yard line. But that doesn't last long because Garrett Green re-enters the football game. And Marchiol just looks like the left foot stepped out of bounds before he could make that little spin back inside. But yeah, if I'm Garrett Green, we're inside the 2-yard line. I'm running back out there. No, coach, don't take me out. I just threw a great deep ball. Let me get the opportunity to either score or hand it off and finish the drive off.
You see Marchiol frustrated. He had his chance for 6. And now Green, handoff, Donaldson, a touchdown. C.J. Donaldson rumbles in again, his 2nd rushing touchdown, and West Virginia pours on some more.
And that was a cap to the drive. Just a lot of runs, a deep shot, and Donaldson running right through the linebacker, Jeff Robertson, for a touchdown.
8 plays, 88 yards. C.J. Donaldson, Garrett Green, and Jaheim White, they've all run for at least 70 themselves. And they've combined for 4 rushing touchdowns. Mike Hayes out for the extra point. In the first 6 minutes of the 4th quarter, West Virginia adds another touchdown. All set up by Hudson Clement. One-handed, wasn't even clean initially.
He didn't need 2, he just needed 1. The Mountaineers putting points on the board, stunning the Cowboys.
It's all first and foremost. What is tops on his checklist going into a bye week?
They got to settle the quarterback position. I mean, Alan Bowman right now has, I don't see a confident quarterback, even in his 7th year of college football. Rangel may have an opportunity right here. This may be his tryout. And in Flores, another quarterback. That's what I don't see right now. I don't see a confident group at the quarterback position, and that's number 1 for me for Oklahoma State.
Sidewinding kick from Mike Hayes goes out of bounds, just shy of the goal line.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Receiving team is elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line.
Check in with Kevin Connors in the studio.
Mike, Alabama was the story last week. They may be again today. This is Diego Pavia, Junior Sherrill.
And this has been the game for Vanderbilt. Their run keeps getting stuffed, and then on 3rd down, Pavia keeps on hitting big pass plays.
But the Crimson Tide answer, who else but Ryan Williams?
Yeah, this looked familiar. He beat 2 guys for the yards after the catch. Did it against Georgia last week.
30-28 on the SEC Network.
He's ridiculous, and so is Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. Those guys are flat-out studs.
Young guns, for sure.
Garrett Rangel is going to the air, and he floats it toward the sideline, and that is caught by the Virginia Tech transfer, Dawan Lofton. Forced out of bounds at the 44 after 22.
That's a nice anticipation throw there from Rangel. He put that one out there before the receiver got out of the break. That's a positive throw and one that you can build on.
Again, he got 15 snaps 2 weeks ago against Utah, went 3 for 11 for 31 yards. But a chance here to get in the rhythm. Flag down, he's got it to Stribling, made a cut, and Dejon Stribling's in for the touchdown. From 44 yards out for the Cowboys.
Offside, defense, number 8. That penalty's decline. Result to play is a touchdown.
Yeah, they get Tyron Bradley. He's offsides, and so you get a free play. And Rangel's able to get the ball to the outside. And then Boyce, the true freshman, Israel Boyce, number 18, he just misses the tackle. And it's an easy run for Stribling after the catch in for a touchdown. Just turns on the Jets. But it all started with the free play. They get Bradley offsides, free play for Rangel, and it turns into a touchdown to Stribling.
Just 2 plays, 65 yards, and the Cowboys have their second touchdown. 38-14. West Virginia's got the lead midway through the 4th in Stillwater. Spadeda makes his third title defense of 2024. That UFC light heavyweight championship is on the line. Fair catch signal for Preston Fox and the Mountaineers. That's a Clement company. Traylon Ray mixing it up with the Cowboys with 8.5 to go here at Boone Pickens Stadium. So we talked about the road ahead for West Virginia. They got 2 losses this year to a couple of rivals, Penn State and Pitt, who between them have not lost a football game this season. And West Virginia rare to get to 2-0 in the Big 12.
This is a good looking 2-0, right? It wasn't something in which, look, the non-conference is over with, but to open up with 2 wins against conference opponents feels pretty good about where they're heading in the right direction.
C.J. Donaldson off the left side gets buried after a yard. West Virginia has rushed it for 347 yards today.
Yeah, just looking at these standings, look, BYU, Colorado, Texas Tech, they'll see Iowa State next week, so someone's coming away with a division or a conference loss next week. And then just look where Oklahoma State is. TCU got beat up last night by a Houston team in the Fighting Willie Fritzes. UCF and Cincinnati. Like Kansas State and Utah were the teams sort of picked at the top, and they've already got a conference loss as well. So this is going to be a wide open Big 12, and I've kind of loved the way it's been playing out in the early part of conference play.
Second down, Donaldson straight ahead. Wrapped up by Justin Kirkland. All right, so this is what the odds say, the percentages by our ESPN analytics, and I'm curious how it stacks up to what you've seen with your own eyes watching games and some of these teams in person this year.
Yeah, I think with Iowa State, I think that they have a outstanding quarterback we've already talked about in Rocco Becht. BYU, it's interesting watching them, especially the home field advantage they play at, and seeing teams how difficult it is to play at that elevation. I think that they're a team that we got to fight back and see. And Kansas State, I mean, this is just the Klein kids, right? It was just climbing. They find a way year after year.
Third down, this is Nico Marchiol up the sideline. First down, wrapped up by David Kabongo, the true freshman right near midfield. Yeah, BYU is 5-0. They've got the big win over Kansas State.
Right. At home. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
They're a monster to play at home. Can they find that consistency throughout the rest of the season? And here's Marchiol, just watching him operate the offense now. Remember, he came in the game in relief of Garrett Green, and they didn't miss a beat. Green comes back, and it's 538 total yards right now for West Virginia's offense.
369 of them you saw on the ground, and a boatload of first downs for the Mountaineers. Jalen Anderson, a veteran, has checked in. Faked the swing. Marchiol, good cut, but he got tripped up by Kabongo. Again in on the stop this time after 3.
Yeah, making guys miss. That's what's been a theme throughout. They've had guys in position, Oklahoma State defensively. They just haven't made the plays consistently. So, you know, it's one of those games you're going to go back and watch on defense and say, everybody's going to look each other in the eye and say, where can we be better at? What do we have to do? Because right now, offensively, it didn't click for them today. But you want to hang your hat on your defense, at least making some plays, and they just didn't do that today.
You hope for the best for Nick Martin, but again, Mike Gundy said to us that he's going to be out for a while. Whistles before second down. And West Virginia takes the timeout.
First charge timeout, West Virginia. 30 seconds.
Well, while we have a moment, we do this every week. Here in Stillwater, we needed to put Detective Dawn on the case.
I'm on a 170-acre property outside of Stillwater, home to Bullet, and the care of Bullet is a family affair.
I'm Keaton Cunningham. I'm the Oklahoma State University Spirit Rider.
And I'm Jennifer Roberts, OSU Spirit Team Coordinator, former Spirit Rider, and mom.
Keaton, some would say you're born into this role, but what does it take to be a Spirit rider?
Well, it takes a lot of confidence and it takes a lot of trust in this horse right here.
Keaton, best part of being the Spirit rider?
Pre-game, bullet and I run straight up the middle. It gives me chills to the bone. It is the coolest experience.
What's it feel like watching your daughter ride?
I feel a great deal of pride watching my daughter carry on the legacy.
Guys, Bullet usually gets to ride when Oklahoma State scores as well, so not a ton of action today, but very cool, like mother, like daughter, awesome family legacy here at Oklahoma State.
That's amazing, and the footage of both of them. Day Farmer got popped on the second down run. How cool is that, Kurt?
Love those traditions in college football, right? I get here and everyone's talking about Bullet. I'm like, okay, I want to hear about it. And to see that story kind of come to, great job by Don in seeing that, because that was pretty cool. Like, the closest thing that I've gotten to that was when you play against Kansas City, when I was with the Raiders, and playing against the Chiefs, and they've got their, the horse on the side, and you're like, whoo, or the Denver Broncos. Like, it's just the pageantry of sports and a great tradition here at Oklahoma State.
3rd down and 3 inside of 5 minutes to go in the 4th here in Stillwater. Left side, and Marchio got stacked up by Colin Clay, the 330-pounder. Props 4th down.
Yeah, I don't think the quarterback Marchio like that one too much. The big number 93, Clay, coming down and making a play. That's 6'4", 330 pounds landing right on top of you. It's like, come on, coach, can we call a different play? That's a positive play, though. When you turn the tape on tomorrow, Colin Clay is playing all the way to the whistle. 4th quarter. These are the type of moments of who's still playing hard, who's still out there giving their full entire effort. And that's a nice job there by Clay.
Well, West Virginia does have a punter. His name is Ollie Straw. He's been used for the first time right now. Gets one away toward Kyler Pearson. And Ollie Straw, back in his vicinity, drew a couple of flags. It appears on Kobe Hilton for Oklahoma State, one of their safeties. Mike McCabe in discussion with his crew.
Now, is this roughing or running? If it's running, it still would make it 4th and 3. So it wouldn't give them a 1st down, but if it's roughing.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
Wow.
Defense number 0. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
That's the automatic variety. I don't know if initially I saw this rise to the level of a personal foul. But yeah, the plant leg doesn't go down. I think I'm looking at the plant leg, and this is kind of an inadvertent contact, right? He didn't get the initial block, but his foot made contact with the plant leg. And that's where they call the personal foul. You get that protection, that safety. Remember, this player is also defenseless as well. And in that defenseless posture, the ability to be able to land on the plant leg, that's where I think the personal foul came in.
And that's just the way it's gone for Oklahoma State. Meantime, West Virginia, who has thrashed the Cowboys in this game, everything has come up their way. This is on the ground, and a carry there to one of the newcomers they're excited about for West Virginia, Dior Hubbard, getting the tote for a yard. And here's a look, by the way, at T.J. Jackson, a man who's been massive. You said earlier, maybe the best defensive player for West Virginia. He's got an incredible story. Coaches rave about his motor, and it traces back to his freshman year at Troy, where Jordan Leslie told us Jackson flatlined on the field, and the training staff at Troy brought T.J. Jackson back. Jackson had to take a year off, but it was a correctable condition. Guy who went through a bunch of doctors, got cleared to play, and now he's at West Virginia starring for their defense. Jalen Anderson on the ground to the 27. So think about that journey for T.J. Jackson, who had his life hang in the balance on a football field back in the fall of 2020 at Troy.
Yeah, it's just the love of the game. And to have that opportunity to be back on the field, you can see by his play. When I turn the tape on this week, it's not hard to miss number 11 for West Virginia, making plays, run up and down the field. You can tell he plays with a different motor because of what he's been through.
He's been one of the key architects of their defense. Third down, Anderson, first down to the 22.
I'll tell you guys, too, his teammates absolutely love him. Trey Lathan told me playing behind him so easy because you know he's always going to do his 111th, right? You know he's going to do his job every play with that motor that doesn't stop. He doesn't want to waste any of his time that he gets to be on this field, and his teammates see it.
It's an unbelievable story.
2-minute timeout.
TJ Jackson is an inspiration, what he has gone through and the way he's playing now. His team is blasting Oklahoma State. It's a 24-point margin for West Virginia as we hit the 2-minute timeout in the fourth.
Family bragging rights were on the line in this one today. Oklahoma State DC Brian Nardo is 11 years older than Luke Nardo, who is a coach for West Virginia. They are best friends, talk every single day. Brian said maybe not as quite as much this week, but that brotherly matchup has been talked about within both locker rooms coming into this one. Last year, it was Oklahoma State and Brian, older brother, that got the win. The family bragging rights, though, going towards West Virginia and Luke this time, guys.
Yeah, Don, how about that? It's looking like it's going to even up between Luke and Brian. Looked like Oklahoma State jumped first before the run from Jalen Anderson.
No, that's pretty cool, man, just to hear that story. You know, Coach talked about it with us as well. Coach Nardo on the Oklahoma State side.
Offside, defense, number 89, 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
How he also wanted his brother to kind of start his own path. You know, you don't want to be the Nardo brother. Oh, you're
Correction,
only...
the foul was on the 99.
To be able to hire him at Oklahoma State, like, no, he allowed him to go to West Virginia, start his coaching career there. They're both the sons of a high school coach, so that's something that they've talked about. It's a really cool moment to spend here with your brother on game day.
Brian Nardo, by the way, has a third kid on the way in 6 days, so we hope everything goes great for them during the bye week. We know that'll be an exciting time, and he was sharing it with his brother Luke here this week. Anderson goes spinning, gets cut down at the 10. Thought it was interesting, too. Jordan Leslie, the West Virginia defensive coordinator, said he and Brian Nardo have grown close. And after they play each other during a season now these last couple of years, they'll talk and they'll compare notes about common opponents that are coming ahead.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams and coaches and friends, they all do that. The common opponents, hey, what did you guys do here? What should I look out for? You all want to see each other have a lot of success, but it comes with games like today where sometimes you may not have an answer, and they got the dance moves over there with the kids from Morgantown.
And they're going to put this one on ice. Jaheim White, Garrett Green and company did the heavy lifting, and West Virginia is going to win it. You saw the note. The number of times they ran the ball today, 63. Their most rushes since the 2006 Sugar Bowl. This is an offense that ran it 57% of the time last year, among the most in the country. And they got back to that identity here today.
Was that Pat White? What are we talking? That Pat White, Tavon Austin? I mean, we're going back in the day right here. This is the glory years of West Virginia football. You're talking about the 2006 Sugar Bowl.
And now 18 years later, they ran it all day. And West Virginia comes to Stillwater, and Neil Brown's Mountaineers are 2-0 in the Big 12. They win this one 38-14 against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that was a decisive victory. It seemed like from the beginning of the game, that first drive, they only got a field goal, but the drives after, touchdown, 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 they dominated this game from the first half, and it really carried over into the second.
Heck of a bounce back effort these last couple of games for West Virginia. They've now had consecutive 2-0 starts in Big 12 play for the first time since 08-09 back in the Big East. Don.
Well, Coach Brown, you told us that during the bye week you focused on getting that run game going. Ran the ball 63 times today. What allowed you guys to have success on the ground?
Well, we got ahead, so it allowed us to do that. But when we talk about running the football, we talk about a team approach, and it's all 11 guys. I thought our receivers and our tight ends were special in the run game today. They didn't touch the ball as much as they wanted to, I'm sure. We'll have future games get them the ball. And then I thought our O-line and our running backs are really good, and our quarterbacks helped as well. So really good game for our front. And I thought our defense was special. You know, to come in here and hold this group to 14 points, that's a really good game.
I know you said that last game showed resiliency with your team. What did your team show you today?
Well, we got a good football team, and I think because how we started the year, people maybe quit paying attention to us or maybe slept on us a little bit. And we were just in a mentality, each week we got to focus on that opponent and win that week. And I thought our guys did a nice job of that this week. And now we got a huge game the following week at home against a really good Iowa State team.
Garrett Green, you mentioned your quarterbacks, both of your quarterbacks as we saw them today, but how tough is Garrett Green and what did he bring to you guys today?
Well, I thought both of them were tough. And we felt like this the whole time as we had two quarterbacks that were capable of winning in our league and winning Big 12 football games, and I think they showed that today. But they're tough. We don't do the smart thing sometimes, but we're really tough, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them both, how they handled it, and they were really good today.
Coach, congrats on a road win.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, they're back in the national discussion after what they've done these last few Big 12 games. They've got Iowa State coming next week back at home. Still plenty of college football to come right here on ESPN2. For Kirk Morrison, Don Davenport, our entire crew behind the scenes led by Caitlin Urka and Ed Curran, Mike Monaco sending you to the studio.
All right, Mike, total domination today by